Okay, this is live on OBS. Let me head over to YouTube.
Cool. Cool.
Live control room.
I'm like, I'm still rethinking my winner pick. I'm like,
Yeah, I thought about it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
All right, stream health is good. We are. Did we go live yet? I don't think we've gone live yet.
Nah, 12 minutes.
12 minutes still says? Okay, yeah. So we haven't gone live yet, but the preview is looking great. It has us there. Let me see if I get audio live yet. I don't think we've gone live yet.
Nah, 12 minutes.
Yes, it's working. All right, cool.
Yes.
I love it because audio's coming through, the video is synced up and all that. It's like on delay, but it's perfect.
Okay. What's on delay?
It's like the actual is like the preview's on delay. So like it's us talking like 10 seconds ago.
Cool.
But yeah, okay. You want to go over anything before we get started? Anything specific?
Not if there's anything, we're gonna open with the talking theme, right? Theme.
Yeah, theme. Yeah, well, we're gonna introduce ourselves, introduce the show a little bit. Then we're gonna jump right into theme, talk about the idea of like Boston Rob and Sandra being teachers of sorts. Do you have is that a buff right there?
It is a buff, yes.
Yes, I love it. What season is that from?
It's from DVG, David vs. Goliath.
Okay.
It is the swap tribe that was created.
Swap tribe buff.
After, they went from 2 to 3, and that.
Kill me. I hate that. Anyways.
I know, but that third tribe was killer. They didn't lose an immunity.
That's like the swap tribe from Second Chance and this past season with Joe.
Right.
Whoever gets Joe, they don't lose.
Mm-hmm. But Joe, you never see Joe at a tribal. Well, I think he was at 1,
and then he got voted out. So in Joe's history on the show, he's been eligible to be voted for in only 4 tribals, and in 3 of them he got sent home. The only one he didn't was when Wentworth pulled like the blind side. In Second Chance. Did you watch Second Chance or no?
No, but I think I've seen some clips.
Ooh, that blindside was honestly better than the one. It wasn't even an idle play. It was just a blindside. It was so good.
Oh, yeah.
So that's when she blindsided Stephen Fishback.
Oh, Fishback.
Yeah, it was great. Fishback had an extra vote, and he used the extra vote to try to ensure Joe would get out of the game. And he split his extra vote. He put Joe and he put a backup just in case, like he had an idol. Mm-hmm. And Kelly knew this, and Kelly's been playing off the bottom the whole time. Mm-hmm. So she knew that people were. She knew that Fishback was plotting, and she got enough people to vote for him. And it was like a 3 to 2 to 1 vote. It was something bizarre. It was amazing.
Yeah, like a massive just
clusterfuck of a. Oh yeah, it was a great vote. I loved it.
That's so good.
All right, I think as soon as I hit go live here, we will go live.
Cool. Yeah, I'm assuming it can be, before or after 9 o'clock. And, it's just
it's not gonna.
That's a reminder.
So you're saying on your YouTube right there, it's not live yet?
It's a countdown.
Good. Okay. Let me see. All right. So that's will indicate when you're live. To stop streaming, stop your encoder. Your stream is completed public view. Time.
Do we have any goals of length we're trying to shoot for?
Hour and a half.
Okay.
I mean, just kind of we're gonna let's just kind of feel it out. The first one. I mean, this one's gonna be different than all the other ones because it's a preview. The other ones should be more consistent. So let me. Okay. All right. Yep. It's just waiting for me to hit go live. So, whenever you're ready, I think we can do this.
Yeah. Let's cook it.
All right.
Cook this pig.
3, 2, 1. Okay. It says it's going live. I'm gonna wait for it to give me the thumbs up.
Still nothing. Still countdown.
Yeah, I'm getting a loading screen saying going live. Oh, fantastic. Why is this taking so long? Oh, just go.
7. Yeah, I got the chat window open because I know the chat's gonna be popping off.
Oh yeah. I told Matt. I said, Matt, hop in there. Yeah,
Yes,
it's gonna be 8 a.m. It's gonna be 8 a.m. when you
little
early for the boy. Let's see here. Oh, Kristen subscribed.
Yes, she said she would watch.
If we can get it to go live. All right. Yeah, it still has a countdown. What's going on? Maybe we have to wait. I guess I don't know because I set a time.
Yeah, maybe that's what I wonder.
Because it's just loading on the one screen. All right, I'm gonna see if I can edit it from here. God, this YouTube studio is so confusing. Oh my God, it's the worst.
I haven't messed around with it because
it's not intuitive. That's the problem. Like everything's hidden away on a different page. Like the things that you need to stream are not all listed right in a row. They're on like 6 different pages.
Awful. Wouldn't it be something if in this season there were no idols?
I don't think that's the case.
No, it won't be the case. But like,
yeah,
Rob and Sandra, they're the only idols. Well, I'm just noticing now in the picture that there's 2 idols flanking either side of the big heads.
Jeff, I think let slip in an interview he was doing. He was saying like they'll go to the island and they'll be like, "Can you beat me in this?" Which is a weird concept, but apparently what it is like something like there's no way they're gonna beat him in. But then what they do is they're like, "How about if I make the idol last 3 tribals?" And he said those exact words. And I was like, "Whoa, Jeff, what are you doing there, my friend?" So I don't know what that means. I forget where I saw that interview. I don't think it was Entertainment Weekly. It was something else I saw on.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Like it's apparently the reward or the whatever it is that they can get.
Yeah,
varies, and they allow Rob and Sandra to fucking barter.
So they would barter, and what would be the case? Like they would make it harder to get it or easier to get it? Like how exactly are they bartering with weeks of an advantage when you just have to straight up beat them? I thought that was all it was.
Yeah, hold on. I mean, actually, it might be because it was in private, so we might be live now. I'm going to check. Does that make it go live?
No, still counting down. I mean, I'll refresh it. Let me see. Yeah, nope, nothing yet.
I thought it was public, that's why. Hold on. I'm going to have to mess with this real quick. Advanced settings. Please take me to Creator Studio Classic, because this is confusing. Okay, it says we're live on my screen now. Let's see.
Let me check on another thing. I've got my phone.
Oh, I think we are live. We're live. We are live.
Oh, we're live.
You ready?
Oh.
All right.
I don't see myself, but okay.
It's going to be behind first. We're live. We're live.
Okay, I'm gonna refresh this page.
Yeah, you'll see it in just a second. It's probably a second video because I had one was private, one was public, so you might see 2 separate videos, unfortunately. But we are live on the first episode of Saturday Morning Survival. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time of day you may be watching this.
True.
Right now, it's 9 a.m. here for the boys. I'm Anthony. This is John.
Hello.
We are here to talk some Survivor for you.
Yes.
John, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit more properly, like, what's your favorite season of Survivor? Favorite player of all time?
I am a born-again Survivor watcher. I watched a lot when I was younger. I watched pretty faithfully season to season. I'm, and if the community's listening out there, I was a Big Brother fan first. That was my big deal. I love the BB, but very recently, the last 3 or 4 seasons, I've been getting heavily back into Survivor. I'm very excited for 39. If I had to pick my favorite, just because of recency, David vs. Goliath was so good. I got the buff on here.
Buff right there.
My little Tiva tribe.
Handsome little double.
I love that season, and I'm really hoping that this upcoming season and season 40, for all the spoilers and
yeah, right.
Things that we're talking about, that could be very good too. But how about you?
Yes. So yeah, I'm Anthony. My favorite season is definitely Heroes versus Villains. Pretty cliche, but it's fantastic. Some of the best players of all time on that. 2 of them are back this season. But that's my favorite season. My favorite player, it's very tough. I would probably have to say Parvati. I think the way she plays the game is kind of perfect. I think it would work nowadays because she knows how to stay kind of hidden behind the scenes, not make herself known, and still make all the moves. Because that's been a problem in recent seasons, is that the big players get it out in the open and they're out of the game by the end. So
yeah,
I come from that understanding of it. I think that I enjoy big players and all that, but I think there's a place that you need to do, and I think people these days are overly aggressive, and that's part of the reason why you see a lot of great players not winning right now. So, although you do have a few, you definitely do have a few.
That's true.
So today we're going to preview season 39. We're not going to talk about the history of Survivor, all that. We'll probably get to that at a later date. We'll talk about other favorite seasons and all that. But we're going to look at just the general production layout of it to start, like Island of the Idols, what's going on the island, what's going on with Survivor School, Rob and Sandra, no Jeff to start the game, no marooning. Mm-hmm. Then after we get through all that, after we get through the topic of the theme, we're going to get into predictions. We're going to give out some superlatives. Who's going to be the winner? Who's going to be the first boot? Idol Finder, Problem Starter. We got a whole list of them. So we'll get to a whole list. So I do want to start. Let's start with talking about the theme of the season, Island of the Idols. So it is up in the air right now for a few people what that necessarily means. So obviously, Island of the Idols would be Sandra and Rob are both Survivor idols. So that's the one play on it. The other play is that where all of the idols are? Are there no beach idols? Which is something I am not convinced of. I think that after hearing a few interviews, there will be advantages given out by Rob and Sandra at Survivor School. But I still think there will be normal idols because it just feels like it'd be too weird to just do away with that and only allow the players that get the privilege of going to the Island of the Idols to even get an advantage in this game. Because I'm sure there's people that'll never get to go there.
Yeah.
Because it's the way that it sounds like it's one person that gets to go there every so often.
I was kind of confused. I thought I saw in a promo, maybe I was not looking at the right thing or misconstruing one of the clips, but I thought I saw like 3 or 4 people trying to make a fire with like the bow and
oh, no, yeah. I mean, I guess they could. I mean, from what I heard, it was just like whoever gets a chance to talk to them. I mean, they could possibly have multiple people go at the same time. I just feel like it's too short of a time span for people to be looking for idols,
right?
And it kind of dulls the beach life a little bit, which is an interesting way to like look at it. Like, oh, there's no idols on the beach. Like, time to just all social gameplay on the beach. But I don't think they would take that step. So I think there will be advantages. There will be idols on the island, and then advantages of sorts given out for Survivor School. Which I think is a social media machine. I think Rob will be pumping out tweets every single week, like hashtag you got schooled or something like that.
Oh man!
So I can imagine all the puns they're gonna be doing with Rob and Sandra, and like I feel like they're gonna be cocky. I think they're gonna be enjoyable for everyone to watch. I really think they're gonna be like in the faces of these survivors. So
yeah, I feel good. I feel good about it. I feel good about them in their role. I get nervous when I see coaches because part of my Big Brother history, season 14, they did a coach thing where 4 returnees drafted little groups of 4, and then they had the opportunity to come into the game and they play the game. But I'm, very confident that Rob and Sandra will not be playing, and that's going to be very key here. I do not want them anywhere near the game
not
at all.
Although they will be making camp and doing everything on their own, which is interesting because apparently Jeff originally offered we'll build the shelter for you, and they were like no, we're doing this the right way, and
want to show off a little bit.
A little show off. Well, I think the idea is when someone gets there, on day 1, 2, whatever the first person is, they're gonna have full camp already. They're gonna be catching fish. They'll be like, "There's only 2 of us. What are you doing at your camp?"
That's pretty good.
I think they're going to be the perfect people to play this role. How it will pay off is up to question. I'm not as nervous about this as say I was about Edge of Extinction, which is a different topic for another day. Mm-hmm. But I do think that this is a twist that can work if it's executed properly. My one concern, I think I mentioned to you before we went live, was if too many people succeed and too many people get advantages, the sheer influx of advantages will completely inflate the game. Right. You're going to have way too much going on. We don't want to have a situation where everyone's got an advantage. I mean, that's just too crazy. It's unpredictable for production, and that's normally when we have the flubs that we've had in more recent years. I mean, I know you haven't been completely caught up on some seasons, but the Game Changers flubs, oh my.
Oh yeah.
When everyone's immune except for one person, that can't happen. That cannot happen. Yeah. So I have a little bit of concern for that, but I think the way that it's going to be implemented should be good. By the way, what are your thoughts? What is going to determine what makes you go to the Island of the Idols?
That's what I'm thinking. My first thought is that it's just going to be a exile situation where the losing tribe, one person sent to Island of the Idols, but I don't know. Maybe it's, or did it work where it was the winner, or somebody from the winning tribe got sent there? The losing tribe sent. I can't remember.
I think it was the winning tribe sent someone.
Right. Okay, that's what my guess is. Yeah. So if I had to, and one of the things that I know you've talked about, this could replace the reward challenge. So you're not going to have somebody being sent there as a result of the reward. It would be a result of the immunity challenge, which is almost very bad for.
No, yeah, you need people at tribal. You can't let people miss tribal.
No.
So
I don't think that would be the case.
Okay. When I was saying about the reward, which I'm not as confident about now, I still think it'd be cool because that's one thing about Survivor that it can still spice up is the reward challenges, because they used to spice it up with the Survivor auction, the eat-a-thon. Remember those challenges where you just had to eat? It was just different. It changed up those reward challenges a little bit. Right. I did see a sneak preview that they just posted yesterday where they are doing a challenge for immunity and reward. So I'm assuming that won't be the Island of the Idols there. But I also think it's going to be something that comes out of left field because they're not getting marooned. They're just on the island. They're just there. They're not going to see Jeff. They're going to be confused. They're going to be wondering what Island of the Idols is. So the idea is they're going to be supposed to be in the dark. And when someone goes to the Island of the Idols, or a group of people goes for the first time, I think it's supposed to be complete shock and awe for TV value, obviously, but also for gameplay. Then they have to determine, do we tell other people about this? Granted, they're going to be missing, so I'm sure they know they're gone. And how do you come back oh, it's Rob and Sandra there, handing out challenges. That's such a weird thing to be that's what's going on. So I don't exactly know the selection process for that.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be I couldn't imagine the tribe picking it, because later in the season that could become an issue where the tribe picks someone to go there. I mean, obviously they can switch it come merge and all that, and be now this is how this works. It changes how it works at that point in time. So you don't vote for someone to go there or elect someone to go there. You just people get assigned it, maybe through the reward challenge and the post-merge. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get there. I like the reward idea. I like where whatever tribe would win reward or whatever group of players would win reward later in the season would go to the Island of the Idols. I think that would really spice up the reward challenge, and it would really spice up just the in-between reward and immunity, because now you have people back at the beach worried about like advantages and stuff once they know they're out there. Then you also have people on Island of the Idols competing on Island of the Idols against Rob and Sandra, and probably only one of them is going to get something. I doubt they're going to give multiple people things. So
that's true.
I feel like if the rewards, at least in the second half for sure, would be like that, that would be really good, really cool idea.
Yeah, that would be pretty neat. I mean, it's so up in the air as to how the mechanic is going to work, and you can think and think and think, but we're going to know on Wednesday. And I think we're probably going to see it pretty quick into the.
I'm not sure.
I mean, we have an hour and a half premiere, so I don't know how that's going to play into it, but
yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to see it like at its full force right away. But I think that they're definitely going to introduce it. They've been advertising it heavy, so it's obviously going to be in the pilot. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind. So I'm more. I want to wait and see, and then like it's going to be more of a talking point next week. Like when we realize what it actually is, and then we understand how to analyze it. But we're just as blind as the survivors are, the castaways. So, speaking of castaways,
yes, let's talk about this.
We have a whole new list of 20 cast members. Do you have them in front of you by chance?
I do. I'm looking at them right now.
Do you want me to introduce one tribe while you introduce the other one in a quick little rundown? Do you have them separated by tribes?
Sure, we can do that.
Which one do you want? Do you want Lara or Vokai?
I want Lyro, but you can do Vokai first.
Vokai first.
Let me pull up some stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So I know all their jobs.
All their jobs. So
yeah, I want to know that.
Vokai, the team of J's. There are 4 people in the Vokai tribe with names that start with J. That's not going to get confusing at all. First off, we got Dan, who is a 48-year-old, and his one wish was he wanted to get marooned. I remember they showed, like, they put the bucket list video out, and they were talking about what does everyone want to do on their episode of Survivor. He was just like, I just want to jump off a ship. And I'm like, dude, you signed up for the wrong season, or because that was your bucket list item, which is a terrible Survivor bucket list item, that's why they put you on this season. They're like, we're going to get this guy so good. Then you got Jack, the 23-year-old, the youngest cast member. He seems like a very free spirit, very high energy, definitely a younger kid. Then you have Jamal, who's a massive human. He's like 6'4", I think, 6'5", mid-30s. Seems like quite the talker. He very, very strong, stout voice. I really like that character there. Janet, who's the second oldest, believe it or not, at 59.
Second oldest.
She seems like your typical older Survivor player. Nothing came out to me like, oh, this or this is different about this older player. She just seems like you're pretty much run-of-the-mill, but she doesn't seem like old school. That's the one thing that seems a little different. Like, she doesn't seem too committed to the old school, in my opinion. So, like, at least like it looks like she'll at least try something. That could be wrong. That's just my immediate assessment. Then there's Jason, who is a small little guy, but he seems like he's a sneaky one. That's just what I get first few impressions. Kelly, the Penn med student, I think, or Penn law student, one of the Penn. She goes to Penn, Ivy Leaguer. Really smart. She's generally she's your stereotypical Survivor. You're the really smart person on this season. Like, she's probably going to be like doing something big in the world after Survivor rather than Survivor. It's always interesting to see how those play out, because generally they're like, oh, they're really smart, but then they lack common sense or something like that, or they just lack social awareness. She seems like she's got enough there. She seems like she's a good player, in my opinion. Then you've got Lauren, who is a late 20s. I think she's a nanny, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yep.
So she seems like she's a fun character. She doesn't come in screaming like I'm going to go take over the game or anything like that, but she seems like she's very likable. She's very sociable. How good is she at that? I don't know. She just seems like a very happy, very, very let's work together kind of person. So we'll see. We'll see how that develops. Molly, who seems like a great contestant to do a lot of things. Like she seems like she's a little bit all over the place in terms of where her talents best are. I'm not sure if she's more like a jack of all trades, king of none.
Interesting.
That's how I kind of view her. She seems like she's gonna like work hard. Like that's what I'm getting from her. Like that's all the interviews and all that. There's like, oh, she was the oldest of 13 cousins. She was the she works 2 jobs and goes to law school. Like holy cow. So I have high hopes for her. She's probably gonna be trying something at some point. Is my prediction. Then we have Nora, who is very loud. That's something I got right away. As soon as I heard her first interview, I was like, whoa. This girl is loud.
Out of nowhere.
She's very physical. She could definitely win some challenges for both team and individual if she gets there. And she seems more because she, like I said, loud. I think that might be more so a hindrance to her than anything else because she seems like kind of stubborn through all that.
Right.
So
right.
And then lastly, one of my favorite characters in the season, Tommy. Tommy, the 4th grade school teacher who got bullied growing up, and that's why he became a school teacher. Very, very athletic. Seems like he's got his wherewithal about him. He's all about the game. He's going to be a great character. Sometimes great characters get bounced early. So
it's true.
But I think that's a solid tribe. I honestly, in my opinion, I think that's a better tribe character-wise than the Lara tribe.
Character-wise, yes. I don't know how.
I don't know
how they match up. In competition.
Of course, yeah. So,
yes.
Do you want to introduce the Laro tribe now?
Yes, I will introduce the Orange Lara tribe. I probably should have done Fokai after all because they are the more recent ones that I've read about. But that's okay. I've got everything here that I need. So we've got Aaron Meredith, the first on the top left. He is a gym owner, pretty traditional, like big dude that I think will just be maybe over athletic in how he goes about things.
Got a soft voice. I didn't expect that. When I heard him talk,
true.
I was just like, whoa, I expected this to be so much deeper.
One of the funny things, though, that all of the... Like, every player in this game pretty much is into... working at the gym and getting big or being physical. And a lot of them are all talking about their social games. I mean, Aaron, for one, is saying, I'm going to have a really strong social game. We'll see how that plays out. But he had a very good interview. I really think every player in this entire cast had a really good interview.
Right?
Really hard to.
It's a really good cast.
Compartmentalize that. Chelsea. She is a 26-year-old, and she works for IMDb. She's a digital content creator. She sort of got into the movie business by way of New Jersey. She traveled to LA, and she's very, very active in creating digital content and promoting movies and doing all that stuff, all that data collection. Pretty neat. And she was a very fun interview as well. Sort of hard to place her. And it's especially tough because she was the second interview I listened to out of the 20.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Then there's Dean Kowalski. I like the fact that his last name's Kowalski. It's a fun name. I like that idea. I didn't get a ton from Dean. I'm a little nervous about Dean.
So real quick about Dean is that I just looked at the pictures of the cast and I was like, he looks like a Survivor winner. And then I went through and did everything. I'm like, I don't think he's a Survivor winner. He didn't give me anything to give me any information on. So I'm kind of interested to learn about him.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, he's new to the game or the show. Like he doesn't really have a long history with it. So that and that could be good and bad. I think in his case, it might be the latter.
Yeah, the latter. You said good.
Former.
Not the former.
I can't remember which one I said first. So then we have Elaine Stott. She is a 41-year-old factory worker, hailing from Woodbine, Kentucky, the same town that season 37 winner Nick Wilson came from. Kind of funny. Very interesting coincidence, or probably not a coincidence. I'm sure Survivor's just feeling like they want to pull these winners, pull these people. Sorry, no spoilers. I don't necessarily think that Elaine's going to win, but maybe she will. She's very cordial. She has a very good one-on-one conversationalism about her. She seems like she can talk about anything and be down to earth. She has the accent, and sometimes a Southern accent sort of helps you along in the early stages of the game because they think you're, just a good Southern soul.
Good old Keith Nail, one of my favorite Survivors of all time.
Keith Nail. And I mean, that helped Nick too. What was interesting about Nick, though, in 37 is he was going to go out week 1, and then he sort of weaseled his way in, and he did good things, very good things. And then we have Elizabeth Beisel, the 26-year-old swimmer. I didn't know her personally, but she was an Olympic medalist.
Yeah.
I think she has a silver or something in one of the recent Olympics.
I think it was 2008. She went to Beijing.
Oh, really? Really?
She was 15 when she went to there. I think.
Oh,
I think that's something I read.
Oh, maybe, and I probably
maybe it was 2012 then.
Watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, she could be pretty dynamic in water challenges.
Oh, for sure.
A big thing. Granted, she has to get water challenges. I think the first immunity challenge that we see is just a traditional obstacle course. And that might not necessarily play to her strengths, but we'll see. Then we have Karishma Patel. If I'm correct, I believe she is the first Indian American player to play. If I have that right,
no.
Survivor. No, I thought I heard that.
I mean, maybe she's the first one. Like, was she? She's from, like, she was born here. She's the only one. The only thing I was thinking, maybe she might have been the first one born in India to move here to play the game. I don't think she's the first. I feel like I
heard that, but
maybe she is. Maybe I'm just thinking of other possible countries from like around India that may have had players before. But I feel like there's been someone of Western Asian descent that's played Survivor before.
Yeah,
that's what I'm just thinking of.
Odds are. I mean, there's 500 and so many.
Right. So she might be. I don't know. That's something we're gonna have to check.
So Karishma, personal injury lawyer. She's 37. She's from Philadelphia. The good place, the good city. But she lives in Philly.
Yeah, I have a rumor that she went to our high school back in the 90s.
No way. I'm
gonna check now.
That would blow my mind.
I gotta check her full name. Keep going. I'll keep looking this up.
Yeah. Karishma, I was a little nervous when I saw like her casting picture. It's something about the body language of her picture. I was like, oh, she might be kind of a pushy person. But when I heard her interview, my impression of her completely flipped. I think she could be really, really good. Yeah. I think she's got. And she's not going to go too heavy with the whole lawyering thing, but she doesn't really take, anybody's shit. I think she could be a pretty powerful conversationalist and get through very strongly and align with the right people. And I think she has a good head for the game.
Yeah.
Are you confirming that rumor?
I'm looking right now because I know she's from the area, but I heard the rumor.
That would be bonkers.
We'll find out for next week. I got to do a lot of digging. To find that.
A lot of digging.
Because she's changed all her LinkedIn and Facebook stuff to just be like, I'm on Survivor, so I can't get like any information.
And then after that, we have 24-year-old Missy Bird. She is a member, a veteran of the Air Force.
24.
Yes, at 24.
Right.
Well, and the reason she was a veteran, she overcame a pretty serious brain tumor that tricked her body into thinking that she was pregnant, which is like
bizarre,
bonkers,
right? Yeah.
To think about. But I think she's got some very strong upside as a player. She was a college basketball player. I think she could come across as very fierce. I mean, she's not letting life push her around. She's overcome these big things in her life, and I think she's there to game. I think she's there to play, and I get very good vibes coming off of her and her interviews. Next we have Ronnie Barda. He is a poker player. I follow a Jeopardy player, Alex Jacob, on Twitter, and I saw that he knows this guy. And Alex Jacob is my favorite. If nobody's familiar with Jeopardy, he's my favorite Jeopardy player. He's the best boy to ever play the game. I love him. And he knows this Ronnie guy, so that immediately was like, okay, this guy's probably pretty good. I think Alex runs with some pretty smart dudes. So I get very, very good vibes from Ronnie as well. I think the poker player mentality serves pretty well in these social games. And I think he could probably orchestrate some pretty good blindsides with some of those tactics that he takes away from the table. Second to last, Tom Laidlaw. I'm not familiar with him, but he was an NHL hockey player. He played for the Rangers in the 80s.
And the Kings.
You're a hockey mind.
Yeah, he's not anything special. He was a one-time All-Star in '88 when Gretzky first went to the Kings. We're not going to get into a hockey conversation there, but he was a defenseman. So he's a goon, as we would say.
An enforcer. He would beat the hell out of people.
Yes.
For fun.
Yeah.
And that was his thing. Oldest member of the cast at 60.
Oldest in a while. So we haven't seen someone at 60 in a long time.
I think Natalie from season 37, if I remember correctly, I think she was like 60. I think she was 64.
I don't think she was that old.
I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, 'cause I remember reading something like he's like the oldest in a while. Maybe she's older. I don't remember her age.
She was 54. I don't know. I don't know. It's a numbers thing, but who knows? But yeah, former NHL player. He's got the history of being physical.
First Canadian-born survivor.
That's true. That's a big fact too. Which is going to be interesting in how that maybe changes
casting.
The future of casting. Yes, but it's good. It's good that survivors being willing to go outside of just
part of the thing. Not to go on a little bit of a tangent here, but part of the thing is that there's tons of survivors now around the world, which I haven't watched yet. I have interest in watching. Apparently, Survivor Australia is really good. South Africa is very good. So part of me was thinking like there's got to be a Survivor candidate, but there isn't. So that's why they're probably they finally realized there's not going to be a Survivor candidate. We need to get Canadians involved in some way with our actual game. Although I think it'd be really cool to have just across the map Survivor. Like that'd be so cool. Like if you had some Americans, some South African, like have four different countries, all English speaking because it gets complicated when it's not entirely English. They could try that. I don't know how well that would work.
Like if they did Survivor One World, but it was actually good.
Yeah, right? But yeah, so go ahead, keep going.
And then last but not least, we have Vince Moa, a 27-year-old admissions counselor from California. Getting mixed vibes about Vince. I think he could last pretty long if he doesn't corner himself in a way where he's secluding himself. The problem is, and what I'm hearing in the interviews, is that it sounds like Vince, if you're familiar with the sequester situation with Survivor, they're not allowed to talk to each other before the game starts. They can only sort of exchange glances, winks, nods, and Vince has very heavily secluded himself so as not to, I don't even know. I don't know why you would really want to do that, but he's sort of putting himself away from everybody so that nobody gets any preconceived notions about him, I guess, which could be good. But if he's trying to do that in the game, it could be a problem for him. But he could definitely be a very interesting player in that regard if he can, find the right people to run with.
Oh yeah. He seems one of a kind for sure.
Definitely one of a kind, yes. That's the Lyro tribe.
All right. So those are all 20 contestants. We just did a quick little blurb. We didn't get into too much discussion about it. I feel like we're going to get into more discussion once we start going through our superlatives that we hand out, which we can actually get started with. I want to go in the reverse order that we had them on the list. I want to do the winner last. On the list here, I think let's start with best talker.
Best talker.
The kind of person that, like, when you go to tribal, this person's going to put on a speech, change some minds. Could be a good talker in camp. Someone that's just good at talking. Not necessarily like socializing and strategizing, but very good, like the words they use. And I said it's going to be Jamal. I kind of hinted at it when I was talking about him earlier. I just think he carries that loudness, that just the charisma with speech. He just seems like he can give a speech.
He's a coach. He coaches basketball, if I'm correct. And
he does,
he does seem very well spoken, which definitely plays into it. For my pick, and I don't know if this is sort of a different mindset about it, but I picked Elaine. I think that Elaine is going to benefit in a similar way as I've said, Nick, plenty of times. I think her accent is actually going to be a boon for her in conversations with other people. I think they're going to really like hearing her Southern accent, and I think that Jeff is going to really like Elaine as a person and give her a lot of opportunities in tribal to talk and make points where we're seeing her very frequently in the show. I know that tribal is very edited down, but if you think about what he thinks is going to be the best, and if she's got a bunch of opportunities to talk, then I think that she could be all over the show, and that would, to the audience, show that she could be the best talker.
She's got some hashtags in her future, for sure.
Big time hashtags.
And I think she's the kind of person, she's stubborn, too. You can just kind of tell. Yeah. So, like, when something goes wrong, she's going to have something to say about it. I do like Jamal in the opposite fact, because when something goes wrong, I feel like he can blow up a situation at the same time as calming down a situation. I feel like that's how he can talk. So
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I think both are going to be good talkers in general. Speaking of Elaine, I'm going to go to my pick for Elaine. I actually picked her for something. Best old school player. Because the reason I think she's old school is I think that she's going to be very true to her alliances. Very, very true. I think she'll talk more. Like, she's not going to just go do stuff around camp. The one thing she wanted to do so bad was catch fish, though. I know she mentioned that. So I think she's going to be useful around camp and all that. But I don't think that she's going to be to the old school to the point where she doesn't care about the game. I think she's going to be old school to the point where she sticks to like old school alliance style. Grind it out in camp, grind it out in the challenges, stick to the numbers kind of mentality with the game. I think she just exudes that kind of personality. That's fair.
It's funny that you focused on she wants to catch fish. That's actually the exact same reason why I picked my old school pick. And it's funny because you said you felt the exact opposite. I think Janet Carbon is going to be the most old school survivor. She's been watching since the show started, so she has a lot of old and new survivor in her mind. And as being that she is a lifeguard, she's going to be in the water, and she said, I want to catch fish and provide for my tribe. That sounds pretty old school to me.
No. The reason I don't think she's going to be as old school, I think she's going to be more one of those mom figures. Like, how like sometimes in Survivor there's like, oh, there's the mom. Like, they're gonna act like the mom. Sometimes the moms win. Sometimes the moms play a great game of being the mom and win because they're the mom. But that's kind of what I get from her, because I think she's going to try to play with everyone more so than I think Elaine is. I think Elaine's going to more so get her alliance and stick to it. That's the difference, I think. That's why I picked Elaine. I did mention I think she's going to be old school in a sense. Like, she's been watching forever, but she's also, since she's been watching forever, she's seen the evolution of the game, and she's made the decision to sign up now. Like, it's kind of weird to be like, oh, the game's different now.
That is true. That's a good point.
So, I mean, I think they're both going to have old school tendencies. I also think obviously Tom is going to have, just because I guess because he's older, he's going to have old school tendencies. But Tom's going to be very challenge oriented, very camp oriented.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what to expect from him. He's going to be a good character for sure. But
true.
But yeah, I think he'll check a few of the old school boxes. Do you want to pick the next superlative? What are we going with next?
Yes. So you picked Elaine. Did I have? I had Elaine for best talker. That was why we bounced there.
Yep, that's why we bounced there.
Janet. Okay.
I don't have Janet as any of these superlatives, unfortunately.
Okay.
Much love to Janet, so I can't bounce from that one.
Yeah, I'll have to check how I split this up, but I didn't give anybody 2 superlatives. I gave 1 superlative to every. Well, only 1 superlative per person.
Gotcha. So I did give 1 person 2, and that's the winner.
That's fair.
So.
But I'll do biggest goat.
Biggest goat.
I think the biggest goat will be Miss Molly Byman.
Interesting.
And you say she could be a jack of all trades, which is pretty much the exact opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a sense in her interview, and it was a small thing, but when an interview with Josh Wigler for RHAP, he said, and the Entertainment Weekly, he said, why should you win the game? For some reason, she couldn't come up with an answer. And to me, weird. That sort of hit me at a point where I was like, huh, does she not have a plan? She didn't feel like she had a plan to me. And if you don't have a plan, then I think it could be very easy for you to just be drug along with
at the same time,
a majority alliance.
At the same time, if you have a plan, you often get snuffed out early because you stick to your plan. You need to be adaptable, which I do think she is. I don't necessarily think she's going to play a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that she's going to be able to adapt to situations quite nicely in comparison to like what I would consider a goat. I don't think she's going to play like a goat. That's why.
Well, tell me who your goat is.
My goat, I think I like this one. I think it's Dan. Dan the goat.
Okay. Yeah, he could be a goat.
He just seems like a guy that's there to have fun, which means he's going to stick around and not win the game. He also seems like a kind of guy that like he'll get like one of those votes where they decide to go after the weaker player, and like he'll have like an emotional kind of thing. He just seems like that kind of guy. I like Dan. I do. I just don't think he's going to do much in this game. I hope he does, but I just don't see him doing very much at all. He seems excited about the wrong things in the game. He seems he's an older guy, so he's not a challenge threat really. So it's not like he's going to go out early. He seems like he's a loyal vote. He's going to stick with an alliance for a while. I just see him being at the end of the game and not winning. So that's why he's my goat.
Interesting.
Do you have him for anything else, or?
I do. I have Dan as the problem starter.
Oh, all right.
Yes. I got a sense from Dan. Dan is a talent manager, and he said in his interview that he wanted to skip the casting process. And I said, boy, no, you don't get free.
Yeah, right.
We're not handing out get out of jail free cards. I have a sense that he could feel some privilege, even though like his growing up, he was very hardworking and did a lot to get where he was. But I just get the sense that like he may feel like he's on this pedestal, and when you feel like you're on the pedestal, like a Natalie Cole, who I must apologize. I said she was 64. She was 57. I just fact checked that. So yes, Tom Laidlaw, you are the oldest probably to play recently. But yes, Dan, I just feel like Dan is going to be a little abrasive in the sense that he's going to feel like he has this unnecessary control over people, and they don't want to be controlled in this game.
Absolutely.
And that can be to his detriment.
I can see that happening very much as well. I mean, I just don't think he can win the game. I just don't. Any path he takes, I just don't see him. Like, if I had to bet on someone that won't win this game, it's probably him, honestly. And it's not anything necessarily bad about him. I just don't see a path for him. Other people, like even people that I don't think are going to win, I can see a path for. Like, I can see, well, if this happened, this happened, this happened. Granted, he could come out and be like Ron from last year. Ron had a path to win from Edge of Extinction. He was not someone I pinned as someone who had a chance to win from earlier. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Dan, a little bit more aggressive in gameplay, which has ended up being his downfall. He was overly aggressive, but he at least had a path to victory. So Dan could surprise me, but I don't think he will. Honestly, I don't think he's going to surprise you either. So either way it falls. Either he goes and he starts issues, or he just doesn't do anything and just is along for the ride.
I feel like we're in lockstep on Dan.
Yeah. My problem starter was Nora. I just think she's exudes that. Like, I think she's the kind of person, like, I want it my way kind of thing. And that might be a little bit to her benefit, because I feel like she's the kind of problem starter that is going to stick around for a little bit, unless she blows up, like, big. Like, I view her similarly to Abby Maria, except not as ridiculous. But I view it, that's how I think she'll approach situations. That's kind of how I look at it.
That's fair.
Like, I can see her, like, being like, well, why this? Well, why that? Well, why this? And Abby was just absolutely nuts in every season she played. I don't think Nora's that crazy. Much love to Abby Maria, because I think Abby Maria is one of the most underrated survivors of all time. I think she deserves some credit for how she pulled off everything she's done. But I think Nora is going to be in a similar vein.
Interesting.
So,
I do not have Nora on my list, but okay. I think that would be probably the place to put her if I was going to put her there.
Yeah,
either that.
Like she could be the problem starter with Dan. That could be the fight. That's the fight.
Yeah, maybe
because they're both on Vokai. So.
If I had to, how about you? How about you pick another superlative?
Sure. Let's go with fan favorite.
Fan favorite.
I said Missy. I think the crowds are gonna love her. She, on her bio, the thing that had to use 3 words to describe you, she used 4, because her last descriptor was decently dope. So I think she's going to be very in tune with the viewer in a weird meta way.
That's pretty good.
I think she's a great character. I love Missy.
Yeah.
And I just think because she's been through things, she can just look at things in a different way and, like, find a way to just, like, be, like, that person that, like, people watching the show. And this is kind of partially because she reminds a lot. I'm sure she reminds a lot of people of Michaela. You don't know Michaela. You haven't seen. You probably heard of Michaela.
Yeah.
Michaela is a meme on the internet with her sipping her tea.
This tea sipping.
The tea sipping at Tribal. It was great. I don't think she's quite like Michaela. I think Michaela is more cold and calculated. I think Missy's more so. I think she's kind of more quiet and reserved in a sense, but at the same time, she's gonna let you know what she's thinking. Especially in the cutaways in the solo interviews. I feel like she's gonna be fire. I think they got a good one on their hands for those. Like, she's gonna be like, I lied to him or something like that. Like, I was not telling the truth there at all. So I just feel like she's gonna be very up front with you.
That could be she could definitely have some good diary room type situations, some good cutaways. That's a really good point. For my I'm thinking about her because I have her for another thing. But for my fan favorite, I have Lauren Beck.
Okay. I do think people are going to like her.
Yes, I think she is very likable. She had this very exuberant personality in her interview. She talked for a long time. She's very talkative, which could be a good and bad thing in Survivor. But I think she has the ability to connect with people, and if she's connecting with a large array of people, and we're seeing her in all these different situations, I think it could definitely play to the fact that people like her, and she's very funny. Like, she wants to spend part of the $1 million to buy a pig as a pet, which is cool.
No one's ever said that before.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's ever said that. But I just think I think a lot of talking could mean a lot of screen time, and a lot of screen time means that the audience could very much enjoy her. So that's why I thought fan favorite. I want to go back to Missy because I have Missy on my list.
Okay, well, you have her
as my challenge beast.
Yeah, I figured as much. I think she's going to be killer in the challenges.
I think she's going to be killer. I don't know. You haven't watched. We watched a little bit of Ghost Island.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Ghost Island. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch it all yet. I was going to, but I watched Edge first because I watched Edge post-mortem. And then I told myself I was going to try to get Ghost and Dave vs. Goliath done in time for the season, and I didn't obviously touch either of them.
That's okay.
But I will watch them.
To get back into Survivor, I feel.
Well, not at first. I mean, I was into it about 10 seasons ago. After really, Kagayan got me back into it hard. And I feel like there was a run there of really good season after really good season. If not maybe a dud in between. And I watched Kagayan through through Heroes, Healers, and Hustlers, actually, which was after Game Changers. Yeah, that was the one after Game Changers. So I watched through that, and I started Ghost Island, and I just, A, didn't have time at the time, and B, I was just kind of turned off by some of the recent changes towards the end there. I thought Game Changers was a disaster of a season. I'm not going to get into too much depth about that. And Heroes, Healers, and Hustlers was very mediocre. And like, just when you have those 2 seasons in a row and then like going at them hard, like saying these are good seasons, that killed me. Like oh god, like this is this direction we're going in. Like, oh boy. So I gave it some time, and then I was like, all right, I got to get back into it. And Edge was just the most recent one that finished. I watched Edge. I have my opinions about that, but it's for another day.
Yes, for another day.
Yes.
But back to Missy as my challenge beast. I think, and how I was connecting it to Ghost. Laurel, who came in 3rd on that season, also a basketball player. She was very, very dominant in some of the challenges. And I think Missy fits that prototype, that mold of that type of presence in a challenge. I think she's got, as a basketball player herself, I think she's going to have plenty of speed and strength, and I think it's going to play through it. And again, I think her mentality of like not letting the world beat her is going to make her play even harder in the most physical aspects of the competitions. So I could definitely see her excelling there to the point where we're saying, wow, she's really something in some of these competitions.
I feel like there's a lot of people on this that obviously can be very good at challenges, and
one
that's
of the
gonna,
tougher ones to pick.
Yeah, so I also think that like that's kind of going to negate some of the things we see from it. Like, in other words, like someone may be really good at challenges, but when they're compared to some of the other people that are in this season, they're not going to look as good. So I think it's kind of like a raw deal for them a little bit. Like someone who would be generally pretty good at challenge, I don't know. Think like I guess like a Jack. I feel like he's a younger kid. He would normally excel, but I think he's up against heavyweights here. I don't think he stands much of a chance, just because of the situation. However, my challenge beast is Tommy. I think Tommy's going to be a man on a mission. I feel like that's how he's going to approach this game, and like he's just going to fight and claw. And he's obviously athletic, well built, but he seems just quirky enough to be able to do some of those weird challenges. He seems like he's going to be good at those weird dexterity challenges that they have in Survivor. Like balancing things on the end of a pole on a plate or something like that. Like I just feel like he's going to have that kind of edge to him. But I do think that there's not going to be someone who runs away with challenges. I really don't. Unless people start going home and it only leaves one person, then that could end up being the case. But I honestly don't think that there's going to be someone that runs away with a bunch of challenges. I just think Tommy, especially when it gets to individual, I think is going to be the challenge guy.
Interesting.
If he gets to individual, that is. I mean, I don't know, but
that's true. That's part of it.
So, and I think he's a smart enough guy. He might be the one thing that worries me. He might come out of the gate a little too hard, the way that he was talking in a lot of his interviews. So as long as he keeps his wherewithal and his wits about him, it doesn't do anything crazy to start. I have faith for Tommy to play a really good game.
Sure. What does that leave us with? We've got
4 left.
4 left.
Let's do first boot. Who's going home? Who is going home on Wednesday night?
Sad to say, I think it's going to be Miss Kelly Kim.
Kelly Kim.
Yes.
Decent pick.
She is. She's got a cough going. She's got a cold. She just got over the flu a couple weeks ago in her interview. And I think it's, as much as she's going to try to keep it under wraps, I don't think it's that easy of a thing to keep under wraps. And as soon
you're going to be coughing. Yeah, right.
As soon as you show weakness, in any sense, that gives your tribe a reason to vote you out. And if I'm just looking at Vokai, I really only see her, maybe Nora. That could be two people that would be first booted. Granted, a recent history in Survivor, the Orange Tribe has a tendency to lose.
I know, right?
Than the Purple Tribe. So that may be helping.
Yeah, Kristen said she's done. She's done the flu.
Yeah,
you see that chat?
She's cooked. I see it.
Her goose is cooked.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, that's a very fair point. I'm going to say Laro loses that first immunity challenge, though.
Be a shocker.
My pick's going to come from that side. The only reason is I just think Vokai is a tribe that, for some, I just think they'll be a little bit more together at the beginning. I don't know I just think they'll be able to bond a little bit easier. They won't be as aggressive as I think some of the people on Laro will be.
I think, okay.
I also think that some people on Laro might be in over their heads in terms of challenges. So I think Laro is going to be the first one to go to Tribal. And I think the first boot is Aaron.
Really?
I think Aaron is going to stir the pot a little too much. First episode. Listen, the first boot pick's always tough. So
big time.
It's always like, because you never know exactly how anyone's going to play it. But I just get the vibe from Aaron that he might just, if they lose the challenge, he's like, we got to get stronger. Like, because he's a gym guy. He's a gym rat. And like, they're all gym rats, but like, he seems like he's a super gym rat. And he might not even be that good in the challenge. And I feel like
they can afford to cut him.
What was that?
You think they can afford to cut him?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not one of those guys that, generally speaking, I'm not as concerned about voting off the stronger people unless we're getting blown out in challenges. I don't think they're gonna get blown out. I don't think it's that big of a difference. So I'm thinking Laro goes to Tribal. I'm thinking Aaron goes after someone like Vince, and Vince survives because that's what Vince does. He's just gonna dance out of the trouble. That's my guess for first episode. It's gonna be Aaron versus Vince, and Vince is gonna find a way to make it Aaron.
I think that's a great. I think Vince is going to have a target, unfortunately.
Yeah, right away. I think out of the gate, I think he's going to have a target. Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely like to see him dance out of that. That would be pretty neat, pretty something.
All right. Who's going to find the idols? If they find them, or who's going to win the idols?
Oh, I guess.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows how it's going to go? I think it's Jason.
Jason.
I think he's calm, cool, collective enough. I think he'll kind of get the school. Like, he'll understand the purpose of it. Like, more so than everyone else. Everyone else is going to be more so fanboying out or overplaying their hands because they're in front of Rob and Sandra. I think Jason can diffuse the situation in his head and be more reliable there. And I think he's also the kind of guy that can silk off into the woods and find something. I think that he's that kind of a person.
Mm-hmm. I think there's an unassuming nature to Jason that could definitely be his benefit.
Absolutely.
For my idol finder, I have Jack.
Jack, okay.
In his interview, he talks about climbing trees. And you never know. They like to put idols in trees sometimes.
Yeah, right?
So if he's climbing around there and he's like, oh, I see it.
He's not gonna be looking for it. He's just gonna be climbing in the trees, having a good old time. He's going to be looking around, seeing if he can find some fruit to grab.
Catch that fruit.
Go catch that fruit. That's a decent pick. There's a lot of people that are looking for idols. You can just tell.
Yeah,
looking at these people, they're like, I want an idol. That's why I think someone who's not like going out like aggressively is going to get the idol. Someone who's going to just think about it logically, like someone like Jason. Because I don't think he's the guy that's going to sit around and not look for the idol, but I also think he's the guy that's not going to panic and bring attention to himself in the way. So if he were to get the idol, I don't think anyone would know about it. I think he'll keep it, and no one will know he has it. And people will keep looking. They won't. Obviously, when someone has an idol, they don't show. I wish they did more often, like show the footage of people looking for, like without any hope in the world because it's already been found. But I think I think he's the kind of guy that can sneak it. Jack seems like the guy that can definitely find it. I just don't know if Jack can sense it is the thing. Like if it's in if he knows roughly, if he gets like a clue or if he gets a sniff of it in whatever fashion you want to imagine that in, I think he's very talented at going and getting it. It's a matter of thinking it. I don't know if he has got to think to like, where would an idol be? I'm not sure if he has that to him. I mean, he might. I don't know. I mean, This is all up in the air still. It's still early.
I don't know.
So, all right. We only have 2 left.
2 left.
Best strategist and winner. So we'll do best strategist first.
Okay.
Since you picked her as the GOAT, I picked Molly as the best strategist.
Oh, okay.
Because I think, like I said it earlier, jack of all trades. I think she knows how to handle. I think she knows how to slink into the background at the same time. She just, I don't know what it is. It just seems like she knows. She's been through a lot in life. So have other people, but she also she knows how to deal with adversity in a sense, and she knows how to deal with when things get complicated and things get messy in terms of social sphere. I think she's a good person to try to find a way through it, or how to maybe she can just adapt to the chaos. I just think that I feel like someone like that, someone who you wouldn't necessarily expect. Obviously, Ronnie's an obvious pick for that. I think in my head, for best strategist, poker player. Poker players have been around Survivor forever, and they all do the same thing. They all think they're so great, and then flame out when they overplay their hand. So
yeah.
I think Ronnie's a little bit better than some of the poker players in the past, but I'm not convinced that even matters, because I don't think he just seems too aggressive. He seems way too aggressive. He's going to do the same thing in my head.
Man.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's who I picked for my strategy.
That's why I said it. I knew. I felt that coming.
And I have the note. I have the note next to his name that just says Poker Man.
Poker Man.
I like, and maybe it's more suited to Big Brother because it's more of a quieter game. But recent season 17 of Big Brother, there was a poker player, Vanessa. She came in third. She was very, very good, very emotionally intelligent, and that might play stronger to Big Brother. So maybe when I put Ronnie in this strategist position for me, I was thinking more along that mindset that being a poker player plays to the strengths of social game. But if anybody, I mean, if it gets out that Ronnie's a poker player, I think that's just going to be a big target. And I
don't think that's going to get out. I mean, most poker players never reveal that they're poker players. The people that have always gotten voted off early because you don't do that because it's an immediate threat. He plays poker, get him out of the game.
And they mentioned that in his interview that he is conscious of how the other poker players have finished.
He did say that. Yeah,
he seems pretty versed in that way, and I just hope that he can play off of the mistakes that the other people of his archetype have done before, but it remains to be seen.
Absolutely. Yes. Who's gonna win? Who's your winner?
Who's gonna win?
We're here.
How about which tribe were they from for you?
Vokai.
Same for me. Male or female?
I'm female. I picked Molly.
Molly.
Your goat.
That's funny. My goat.
Your goat. My winner.
I had a sense.
Yeah. I did kind of like give her too much credit at the beginning there when I was doing the Vokai rundown.
But you think the jack of all trades nature is going to?
I think it's going to pay off well. I think she knows how to avoid getting the vote on her. I have a weird feeling that she might connect with Sandra. Unfortunately, because I'm not the biggest Sandra fan. I respect Sandra, but I'm not the biggest Sandra fan. She shouldn't have won either season, in my opinion. Hot take. Not really. But yeah, I just think she's got the ability to get through the votes. She's got the ability to make moves without being flashy. I think she's got the ability to blend in with a lot of the people on this cast. And something just about the way she talked and the way she described herself and all that just made me think she's going to come out and play a really good game. I don't think by any means it's going to be a perfect game. She might not even play the best game this season. But I think she's someone that's there at the end. I think she's the one that has a case. That's what I'm thinking. You think she's there at the end too. I just think she has a case.
Hey, that's a good point.
We both see her getting there. So
both see her in the final tribal.
So I might not be. It's possible at the end of the season if she wins. It's possible I'm not happy about it because it's not what I envisioned. She could be a goat that ends up winning, and then I won't be happy. A goat win? No one wants that.
Somebody gets bitter juried, and they pick Molly over them.
Yeah, right. So, who's your? Are you going male or female? Male.
Male, yes. This and Anthony and I talked about this before. This is very difficult to pick.
Did you pick Tommy?
No, I did not.
Really?
I picked Jason.
Jason, okay. All right, I did gush about. I like Jason a lot. I think he's.
Yeah. I think the. And I mentioned it before, but I think unassuming, and I don't know because he sounds like he's a bit of a loud talker sometimes. And
well, he's also a sales guy.
Sales guys win Survivor
all the time. Sales guys win Survivor. That's why I thought he was going to be like the idle guy. He's going to do all that. I just think I'm a little worried that he's going to play too quickly. Once he's going to play slow to start, play smart, but then I think he's going to speed it up post merge. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be a guy that's like 5th or 6th place. Someone gets that they know is going to have a really good game. Like honestly, I think he might play the best game, but I think he's going to lose before the end. And I think Molly's going to be playing a good game. I don't think she's going to be a GOAT winner. I think she's going to be playing a good game. She's going to play a surviving game. I'm worried that Jason might accelerate it too much at one point.
You have Jason pegged for like a 8 or 7 or
something like that. He's like the either a big blindside get off post merge, or he's a guy that ran out of vitals, ran out of time, 7-1 vote, something like that.
Oh, damn. Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
That's fun. I was very hesitant on Jason.
Who were you thinking about as well?
I mean, if I'm looking over, I think if Elaine gets close to the end, I think she could pull it away. I think Missy has an argument to pull it away. Like I told you last night, I think like I feel good about 7 or 8.
No, yeah,
maybe even more people.
I feel a lot from Vokai. Like I think the winners come from Vokai, like almost guaranteed. Like there's so many different people I like on Vokai. Not to say I don't like people on Laro. I just don't like them to win the game. Like I said originally, Dean looked like a winner. I'm like Dean's a winner. Dean Kowalski. Could you imagine? Yeah. Put it on the news. December 11th, Dean Kowalski wins Survivor. But from everything that he didn't give us in interviews or bio reading or anything, I have nothing to go off of. So I'm not going to judge it by his picture, and he's going to lose because of that, in my opinion. So, but then other people in Lara. I mean, if Ronnie can ditch the whole problem that poker players always have, yeah, he has a chance. I'm just worried. I just don't think that's the way it is. And then most of those people in Lara are good characters. I just don't see them winning at the end. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I can see them getting to the end, not necessarily as GOATs, but not someone that played a strong enough game to beat out anyone that I think is going to play a stronger game on Vokai. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. Thinking
of the season overall, do you have the sense that, do you expect this tribe mentality come merge that the majority Vokai, if that's what we're saying,
never
going to be picking off Lyros?
No, not at all. If it's going to be said, it's going to be mentioned. Whoever has the Laro or Vokai, whichever one has the advantage, is going to let's just pick them off, and then that's not going to happen because that's Survivor. But you have to when you're on in my opinion, I've never been on Survivor Beach, but I think that's something you have to constantly like be talking about and mentioning. Like if you have the advantage or if you're in the minority, like you have to act that way. But in reality, you don't act that way at all. You act not a vote-to-vote basis because it's all about building relationships and having people that you can trust that you can vote with you. Not necessarily every time, but at the times you need them to.
Right.
So I think they're going to mention it, like whoever has the advantage going in. Even it could be even. Who knows? But whoever has the advantage coming in, they'll be like, oh, well, let's just pick one off and get down final 6 right here. When's the last time someone said that and it ended up being true?
No.
Season 1, Richard Hatch.
Get to the loved ones visit. Richard Hatch the only situation where that's...
Probably, because he's the one that invented it, and so people are like, oh, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
I love that.
I'm sure there's some early seasons that are like that, too.
Probably.
Rob and Amber could have had that until Rob betrayed his best friend in real life, Lex.
Rob.
He said, keep Amber safe. Yeah. Hey, listen, who's got the bee hat? Elaine. Elaine has the bee hat, too.
She does. She's got the bee hat.
The bee hat. So maybe there'll be some bonding there. I don't know. I think they're going to be rough on them. I really do. I think so, too. I hope Rob and Sandra are brutal on them, and then like give them sage advice, and that they don't give away that many advantages. I want a few advantages, nothing crazy. Like I want them to put their players in their place and then teach them something. I don't want them just to be like, you suck, and then they throw them off the island. Like that would be terrible. Like I'm assuming they're not going to do that, but I also don't want them to be like, oh, too bad, here's an advantage. Like no, don't baby them.
Don't
like,
baby them.
Beat them up and then let them know what they did wrong. So
this is Survivor.
Yeah,
gotta be stronger.
Any hopes for the season specifically as a whole?
You just sort of put it in my mind now that maybe the way that they don't baby them, the way if they're so hard on them, and hopefully this is the case. I think this could be the season where we put the nail in the coffin of seasons where you mix tribes with returning players and new players, because maybe Boston Rob and Sandra will come across in such a way that now new players will almost always go after returning players immediately, just because of how brutal and how much stronger they are through experience that returning players could be. That would be great. I hate mixed casts in these shows. In this and Big Brother, it doesn't help. It's not good. You have to have all returnees or all new people. And maybe if they come across in this way, we could just say enough, no more of that, unless it's in this sense with Survivor School, if they ever bring that back. But that could maybe be what we learned from this season, sort of what I'm hoping. I like the dynamic that could potentially be here with Rob and Sandra. Instructing them, great, but don't touch the game, please. Let them play.
I agree with almost everything you said. I'm a big meta guy. I love the meta.
Yeah.
I love Survivor's 39 season meta now at this point. It's an intense meta. I just don't think that in the end, that if they play that kind of a game, that's going to change any minds of returnees mixed with new players. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope that happens. But also at the same time, when you do that, I still think that you're going to get the same result almost every time, where returnees, some get voted out early, some run the game. Because that's how it always ends. And they don't necessarily win the game, because crazy stuff can happen, like Edge of Extinction. But I do think that the meta will shift, but not in that way where it's just like everyone's just like, oh, we can't do returnees and players again because of how much better they are. I think it's going to more so shift in. It's going to show. Because I hope they teach. That's the most. It's Survivor School. I want them to teach so that people learn the inner workings of those two's minds. Some of the most iconic Survivor players. I want there to be better gameplay, not in the terms of harder gameplay, but smarter gameplay. Because harder gameplay is always fun. It's always great for TV. You're always going to have someone that's crazy, that's going to push the needle, and rarely you're going to have a Tony. You're rarely going to have someone that does that and wins the game, which is fantastic for TV, fantastic for everything, but shouldn't have won because Woo's an idiot. I love you. I really love you, Woo. I'm sorry. But I want them to be like, understand, like it is about playing hard, but not playing so hard, because neither of those two overplayed from any other seasons. They never overplayed. They played smart, they played hard, but they never overplayed. They always played in a way where they were acting more in the shadows. They were more in tune with a bunch of people. Rob more so than Sandra. Sandra was more so, it ain't me, that's all that matters. I can't believe that mentality won 2 seasons of Survivor, but it did.
Who knows?
But Sandra's more villainous in that way. She doesn't care. She's going to show you where you don't have to care. And Rob, in a weird way, is going to show you where you do have to care, because people don't realize about that. Rob is definitely a villain in terms of Survivor, but he cares. Like, he knows how to connect with people, and that's how he's a villain, because he doesn't always blindside them. He just brainwashes them. He's so good at that. Like, I mean, you watch Redemption Island, yeah, he played the game. That was his 4th time around, and he was playing against newbies, and he just ran the game. Yeah. But he did that in All-Stars. He did the same thing in All-Stars, which he should have won All-Stars. Amber won, doesn't matter. But he's the kind of guy that will give them that insight, like play the game like this. I want him to, because the important thing of them beating them, because if they keep losing to these new guys, and then they tell them something after, they're not going to listen. Why would they listen? Because I just beat you, kind of thing. So I want them to beat them and then teach them. Like I want that to shift the meta, and I want the audience to recognize what those two are saying, what they're going to tell the players, and how. Because I think a lot of people, even super fans of the show, and I am one too, so I don't. I could probably be grouped into this, but like they look at it and they want to just play the game and play it so hard and come in and make all these flashing moves and all that, just because that's good TV. You always envision that. It's kind of the same dream as like being a professional athlete in some merits. But I think if people understand how to win the game more so, I think we're going to get better winners, because that's the one thing that's been nagging me for years and years, because every once in a while you have a really good winner, but generally when you have a good winner, I said this to you earlier, when you have a good winner, you have a bad season. When you have a good season, you have a bad winner. That's generally how I've viewed it. So I think it's important for us to start getting good seasons with good winners, and I think them teaching is part of that direction. Possibly. I hope so. That's my hope. That's the legacy I hope this leaves. So, I just want better Survivor. I care more about the game than I do about the result, in a sense. I want it so that future games could just continuously be good, but I also, at the same time, I don't want this to be an overblown thing. I don't think they're going to do this again. I don't think they're going to have another Survivor School thing.
Probably not.
They could do it in like little chunks, like they almost did in Game Changers. That didn't work out. Like where the Cochran just showed up for an episode and be like, "Hey, do this." And it's like, what? Why is Cochran here? But yeah. So like, I think this could be a turning point season.
Could be.
I'm not convinced it will be. I'm hoping it will be, though. That's my hope.
Where do you put it on the scale of all of these 39 seasons?
Where would it rank? Oh, God. That's a difficult question. I think it's going to definitely be in the top half.
Upper half.
It might sneak into the bottom of the top 10, in my opinion.
That's it. I think that's the upside.
That's roughly. I think the upside could push it higher. I just don't think it has. I don't think it can go like top 3 or 4. Like there's 3 or 4 in my head that always they're almost untouchable. One is Millennials versus Gen X, and you said David versus Goliath is fantastic, so I believe you. I heard great things, so I'll watch that one, and that'll probably sneak in there too. For sure. But the most recent one was Millennials versus Gen X, was fantastic in my opinion. I think everything about that one was good, because I like the way the cast. That's another important thing that Survivor needs. It needs a cast that works well together, not in the sense of creating necessarily good TV, but literally in the sense they work well together. Like, from what I remember from Millennials versus Gen X, is not only are they all friends, they all love it, they all love the game, they played it so hard, they made all the moves, all that, but they respected each other. And when you respect each other, you build up each other's gameplay as you go. So it's just there's not enough of that anymore. Like when I watched, it was a breath of fresh air watching Millennials versus Gen X. It really was. But yeah, so I hope the cast has good chemistry, both because TV needs to be good too. TV does need to be good. There's at the end of the day, you need TV moments. So I think they'll be there. I just hope season 40 doesn't overshadow this, which I want to give a quick touch on before we wrap things up.
Sure. Since
we're probably not going to talk about season 40 because next week we'll just be for a while. Yeah, we'll talk about it, but we'll be going episode to episode, talking strategy and all that. Season 40, all winners.
All winners. It's so crazy that they were able to cast 20 winners from 37 seasons, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't include Sanders too, because there's only been 37 winners.
Right.
I mean, unless they would have thrown the winner of this one in there, which would have ruined this whole season.
No, I think David versus Goliath is the last winner that's in there. I'm pretty sure. Season. 20 winners, man. It could be something special.
I don't think it is.
I know you have concerns.
Well, here's the thing. So you're sitting on season 40. What was season 20?
I don't know what was season
Heroes versus
Heroes
Villains.
versus Villains.
Everyone has been begging them for Heroes versus Villains 2. If you want a Survivor season to sell, don't all winners. Yeah, you can do that. Just do a Heroes versus Villains 2 with the new crew. I'm kind of in the group where I'm kind of tired of seeing the same people over and over and over again. I do enjoy them coming back, but they come back too often. You can't have them come back all the time.
I think that's a good point.
You have a whole batch from after post-season 20 of great heroes and great villains.
Mm-hmm.
You do. Cast them. And I don't care if some of them play the game more than 2 times. You have a great selection there of heroes versus villains, the new age part of the game. And then maybe in a few years after that, you can kind of meld the two of the older game, the people that are still around that still can play, because it's been 20 years since like season 1. Not that we're going to get anyone from season 1 to play. No. As much as people want to see Richard Hatch, he's not playing. He's not going to play. He's played All-Stars, and that was it. Right. But like, Boston Rob said he never came back. He came back. I never thought Parvati was going to come back. She's coming back next season.
Oh, man.
I can't wait for that one. I don't know if she's going to be the same as she was. It's been so long for her. That's always a concern. Because that's the thing. Even when they do bring returning players back, the ones that have been out for so long just really aren't the same.
Yeah.
In every experience. So sometimes it's a good thing. Like Kimmy Kappenberg in Second Chance, I thought she played a great game. Not a winning game, but a great game in comparison to what she did in season 2. But yeah, so I don't know how to feel about season 40. Very appealing to me, and I'll probably. There you go. Kristen just said she'd watch.
Yes. Even though you don't know any of the winners. Well, she knows Tyson Apostle.
Tyson, the greatest blindside of all time. When he got blindsided in Heroes vs. Villains.
Love my boy Tyson.
I do like Tyson.
With a dislocated shoulder or whatever.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess people would watch. I mean, I'm not. They know how to get people to watch. They're on 40 seasons. They obviously know what they're doing.
There's appeal there, I think, for sure. I mean, for me, who hasn't watched, I don't know, before Ghost Island, the previous, I want to say like 15 seasons. I watched Heroes versus Villains. I do remember that.
That was 20, yeah.
You know, I know Russell.
And
Boston Rob's little B hat. I personally think it's appealing, but I understand where they're certainly concerned. And yes, they have a wealth of people in these post 20 seasons on that they really should use more. There are definitely a bunch of one-time players that need to play a second time.
Need to, absolutely.
Period. Yeah.
And not to linger on this too long, but I do think it is appealing to have a 20 winners cast. I just think that on the 10-year anniversary of what many people consider the best season of Survivor, what is the second most watched season of Survivor, I think, behind, or third most. The original season, All-Stars, and then I think Heroes vs. Villains is the third most watched. Mm-hmm. I think that's a perfect time to drop Heroes vs. Villains too. I mean, they're probably nervous because whenever they do 2s, they're generally not as good. Although Blood vs. Water 2 was better than Blood vs. Water 1. But Brains, Brawn, Beauty 2, horrible. One of the worst seasons.
Why would they do that again? Why would they do that again and not Heroes vs. Villains?
I know, right? They did that again. They didn't do Heroes vs. Villains. They've effectively done the 3 tribe ones multiple times, like the blue collar, red collar, no collar, or blue collar, white collar, no collar.
White collar, no collar.
Yeah, like they and then they're like, oh well, now it's heroes, healers, and hustlers. Like, what is that? Like, some of the themes just get me. So,
yeah.
But
we're going to school. There is no theme here. We're just going to school.
Going to school. We're going to learn about Survivor. Rob wrote a book on it, as I've seen in every preview, and I'm kind of sick of that sound bit and can't wait for it to come in episode 1, and I never have to hear it again. Because Rob's like, I can tell you everything about Survivor. I wrote a book on it. Like, that's all I hear in my head, in my dreams at night. And I'm just like, Rob, get out of my head.
Rob.
Yeah.
I've got high hopes. I'm excited. I'm ready for the new season to get going. I'm ready to see these 20 people get at it and dig. I am curious though, Kristen in the chat, who's your winner pick based on these people that you've never heard of until today? I do really need to know.
Need to know. Was our insight enough to pick the right winner? And if she's right,
true,
we'll just let her run the show.
Yeah, let her run the show. That we've got a nice 4-person audience. I know somebody else out there, whoever you are, if you want to speak
Yeah,
up.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
This is, I'm just happy. I'm happy personally where I am with Survivor. I like that. I'm very excited to watch it.
Lauren, good pick. Good pick.
Good pick. Very good. Very good.
Yo, Matt Bunker. There it is.
Matt Bunker.
He just woke up. How are you, Matt?
Just woke up.
But yeah, we're going to be wrapping this up around now.
Yes.
Next week, we're going to be back Saturday morning, probably the same time. Sometimes every now and then we'll probably pre-record one. We might have something going on Saturday morning. We'll just release it on a Saturday morning. But I like the idea of doing it on a Saturday because Wednesday you watch it, you have the immediate reactions of watching, and yeah, it's cool. Like I know Rob has a podcast; they those guys do it right after, which is it's their kind of thing. But thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
But I like the idea of letting it sit, letting you finish out like your work week, and then like on a Saturday morning, just kind of like have it decompressed and like look at it more logically in a kind of way. So yes. I think that's a good timing for it. So
for sure.
All right. Well, thank you to the 4 people watching, which is probably me, you, Matt, and Kristen.
And anybody listening to this in post?
In post, yeah, we're gonna work on getting it up on podcast sites as well, not just YouTube. This is just the first one. We will always do it on YouTube live for anyone that wants to get up at 9:00 in the morning on a Saturday. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
But we will also be putting it out, probably get it on Spotify, on iTunes, where podcasts are available. Not there yet, but we will get on that, and we'll see you folks next week. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Hopefully everyone watches the first episode of Survivor Island of the Idols, and me and John, we will see you next week.
Let's rock.
All right.
Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you very much. How do I end this?
We'll see you later. We'll get organic, but I'll say screw your Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, right. Saturday morning cartoons. Listen, they're good, but they're not good anymore. You want to do Survivor now. That's what you want.
That's what you want. All right. We will talk to you later.
All right, everyone.
Try to organically fizzle this out.
Yes. All right. Have a good day, folks.